Many smaller enterprises will look at the Cisco portfolio of products and think that our products are too big, too complex, or too expensive for them. And indeed, some of them are, but some of them aren't. Some of them are perfect for small businesses. So we have taken that subset of our portfolio that is ideal for smaller enterprises and called it the Cisco Designed portfolio. And it includes the products that for small businesses enable them to connect to the network, secure that connection, run and compute their applications that they need for their business and their business operations, and to collaborate. And I am going to go through today what each of those products are and how they fit together to enable our small businesses to operate and grow. Let's start by taking a look at that small business customer. And before we even allow them to get onto a connection, what we want to do is make sure that everyone who's trying to get on that network is who they say they are. And we're going to do that with a tool called multi-factor authentication, which we do through Duo, an acquisition that we have made at Cisco. Multi-factor authentication basically means that we don't allow somebody on just with one factor of authentication, a password, but with more than one, 2 or 3, enabling a ping or another code as well, another form of authenticating that this person is who they say they are. This is very important because 84% of the time that somebody gets into a network, it's through a weak password, and yet more than half of small businesses say that they don't have a password protection or a policy enforcement for their passwords in their organization. So authenticating the users with more than one method is really crucial, and that's what we do with Duo. Now, having authenticated that that user is who they say they are, we're going to let them on the network, and we do that first of all onto the Wi-Fi network. Now, wireless, we have a number of options. As with any size customer in Cisco, it makes no difference. Our strategy is if that customer prefers cloud or on-prem, we have the solution for them. So if that customer prefers an on-prem wireless solution, we have the Cisco Business Access Points, a whole new range of access points that were launched at Partner Summit in November 19. And at Cisco Live in Melbourne this year in March, we've also announced an application, an app that is based on their devices to enable them to manage that wireless network very simply from wherever they are also. So really nice new access points and really simple management of them. If the customer is a cloud preference customer, then we have, of course, the Meraki. The Meraki dashboard, the entire ethos of Meraki is simplicity. And then also we have Meraki Go. So Meraki is for the larger small enterprises, I would say, and even includes the new MR36 access point, which is the Wi-Fi 6 version. And if a small business is 50 users or less, then Meraki Go is the way to go. We did a demonstration of it at Cisco Live, and we set up a new access point from arriving in the box through the post to actually having a working Wi-Fi with no technical skills at all. We set that Wi-Fi network up in 4 minutes live on stage at Cisco Live. That's how simple it is to set up and manage Meraki Go Wi-Fi. Now, having set up the wireless network, what's behind the wireless is, of course, LAN switching. And we have exactly the same, a full stack of for our customers who are small businesses there too. So again, a business that has an on-prem preference, we now have the small business range of switches, the 250, the 350, the 500 small business switch, which is the right price point, the right feature set, the right scale for smaller enterprises. But also, we previously had a switch called the CAT2960L, which is for the customer who is perhaps of a smaller nature, doesn't need the complex feature set, but still wants the Catalyst brand and all that comes with it. And for them, that was the 2960L. We've done a refresh of that, and that's the CAT1K. So the CAT1K is now the switch to replace that 2960L or 2960P. Again, if the customer has a cloud preference and was purchasing the Meraki Wi-Fi, the Meraki switches that you see there managed by the same dashboard in the same simple way, so really easy management of both elements. And again, if the customer was even smaller and wanted the Meraki Go Wi-Fi, we've extended the Meraki Go portfolio to include switching and routing also. So the Meraki Go switches also set up really quickly with the app and also managed with that same app on any device that we manage Meraki Go Wi-Fi. Now, we're still not on the internet, so we need to now go through a routing stack. Same again. If you have the on-prem preference, we have the RV345. Best router in its category, and certainly at this price point. It has a 16-port integrated LAN switch. It has 3 times the IPsec throughput performance of any other switch in the category. It is a brilliant small business router. So the RV range there, it has Umbrella and other security features integrated into it, and that's the on-prem the on-prem router for small businesses managed by Find It. Again, if a customer had a cloud preference and has Meraki Wi-Fi or Meraki switching, Meraki routing, just the same. So the Meraki router also managed by the exact same dashboard in the cloud in the exact same way. So really simple management for smaller businesses who don't have massive and intensive IT workforces. From a Meraki Go perspective, as I said, we've extended that to routing as well. Same app manages your Meraki Go Wi-Fi switch and route. So you've got your full stack there, providing that full networking. But what about securing it? So we're going to add a number of things before we actually get out there on the WAN, out there onto the internet. First thing is we're going to make sure that wherever a customer is going on the internet, whatever address, a website, for example, that they are trying to go to, we're going to make sure it's a safe place and it's not going to return with malware. And that's Umbrella. So that's the Umbrella product. Having done that, we're then going to, of course, have a firewall as we always have. Now, we've always had the ASA. For the small business space, we have ASA firewall, but as a next-gen firewall, which is kind of an application-based firewall to secure apps, and that's the way that firewalls are created for many instances now, we have the Firepower range, and for the small business, the Firepower 1010 is the ideal firewall for those customers. Not forgetting, of course, that the Meraki router, the MX, actually started live as a security UTM, a Unified Threat Management Box. So it has all the things in it, web filtering, URL scanning, all the security features that a customer will expect are actually in the MX. So it is a router. We've added routing functionality to it, but it is also a standalone security UTM also. So if a customer has that cloud preference with Meraki, then MX is also a security and acts as that firewall for them. So an on-prem and a cloud-based version for those small business customers there. And then what we want to do is have malware protection. So here's where we actually look at endpoints, we look at the files being transferred, we check that that is safe, and we even remember. So if we later on realize that a new virus or some new malware has been discovered, we'll remember that we passed it through that customer's network earlier, and we will go back and tell them so that they're able to remediate. And this is an important feature, and securing endpoints is also a really important feature. So AMP is very much in the portfolio for small businesses. Now, small businesses, of course, are not sitting in the office all day. They're out working from anywhere, and they have very much a remote workforce. But they need all of that security wherever they are working from. So in order to enable them to VPN in to that network and be that secure wherever they're calling from, home, Starbucks, wherever it might be, we have AnyConnect, which is our VPN product. And that is aligned to that Firepower 1010. So it's licenses that go with that firewall so that you can firewall in and have that secure tunnel from wherever you're accessing your network. What I want to say about security is although we try to make our solutions for small businesses very simple to use, simple to buy, simple to install, simple to manage, that doesn't mean that they need to have a lack of intelligence. And in fact, a big reason for small businesses to buy from Cisco is not despite our size, but because of our size, because of the Cisco footprint. And security is a fantastic example. Overseeing all of our security solutions is Talos. Talos is the largest security threat intelligence center and analytics engine on the planet. And it's here at Cisco. And it's a massive analytics engine that is constantly taking inputs to assess the security of the internet, to find malware, to find ransomware, to find phishing, whatever it may be. And where Talos gets that input from is from every security product that Cisco has. So not just those small business products that I just shared, but every security product that we have in the whole portfolio for customers of all types and sizes. And you can see them there. And what happens is every one of those products out there on the planet, and we have the largest footprint, we are the largest security vendor in the world, talks to Talos. And when we find some malware on one box for one customer, or we find a virus in one email that went to another customer, or whatever it might be, every time we find malware, that goes up to Talos, and we tell Talos, which runs analytics on it, and then Talos takes that insight and tells every other box in the world. And this is how intelligence engines for security work. But the point with Cisco is, because we're the largest vendor, because we have the largest footprint, we have the widest portfolio, it means Talos gets the most intelligence and the most inputs, and therefore can give that intelligence back. which means that a small business customer that buys just one firepower from us or just one umbrella license gets access to exactly that same level of intelligence from Talos that an enormous customer, some of our biggest customers, are getting also. And they're getting that intelligence precisely because we're a large vendor, and they're getting it in a way that they otherwise couldn't have. Just to give you an idea of the scale of how big Cisco and Talos are, because Talos is so intelligent and our footprint so large, we block 20 billion threats every single day here at Cisco with Talos. If you look at our 5 nearest competitors and size in that space, they block less than 10% of that put together. So that's why purchasing solutions from Cisco is ideal for small businesses, because they gain access to that size and that intelligence that you can only get from a large footprint. And the more that artificial intelligence and machine learnings gets integrated into IT and solutions, the more that becomes relevant. And the more the fact that we are a large vendor becomes more useful for them, because it means that intelligence and that AI is constantly getting better. The more you input, the cleverer it gets. And so that's one great example of how that's working very well for small business customers who are here at Cisco with us. So looking at that portfolio there, that's the connect and the secure. So that's provided that secure connectivity, and that's the portfolio of products that enables our customers to securely connect to the internet. So that's kind of the first half of the Cisco Designed portfolio. Now, before I move on to talk about the compute capabilities, let me first just touch on Meraki Vision. Any customer who purchased the Wi-Fi, the switching, or the routing with Meraki and has access, therefore, to the Meraki dashboard, that same dashboard will manage Meraki Vision, which you could argue are CCTV cameras, but actually are sensors with CCTV cameras in them. They're very clever. First of all, they're ideal cameras for small business anyway, because they have no cabling, no back-end infrastructure. They are connected with either power over Ethernet, you can connect them wirelessly, the server, storage, all the data storage, all the analytics, it's all on the camera. So perfect for small business anyway. But at Cisco Live in Melbourne, we launched a new camera, which is a fisheye camera, 360-degree view, which means that any one camera can manage the entire small business premise with just one camera. But as well as being able to see it and manage it, it also has that sensor in it. So, for example, if your small business is a retail store, that camera is connected to the same dashboard as all the other cameras and therefore gets the intelligence. So it can tell you if a shoplifter has walked into your retail store, even without any kind of face recognition, because it's getting that intelligence about body language of a shoplifter from the dashboard. So that's another example of a product that's perfect for small business, but also has the intelligence of something much bigger and enables smaller businesses to gain access to that AI and ML that they otherwise couldn't afford. Now, of course, that customer is going to want to run their applications. So let's take a look at compute. Most customers are going to not buy, most smaller enterprises are not going to buy and build a data center. They're probably going to use public cloud like Azure or Amazon Web Services or similar. And that is absolutely fine. That's part of the Cisco strategy too. We support that. At the same time, they're probably going to want to put some applications on-prem, some of their business applications. If you're a retail store, some of your POS applications, whatever it might be. So we give them a number of options to do that. They can do that with a standalone UCS server. We also have the Hyperflex. So Hyperflex is the Cisco solution for the hyperconverged. And to explain that, we've now in the industry been putting servers and compute servers and storage together into one box. The Cisco solution for that is Hyperflex. It was too big for small businesses, so we now have Hyperflex Edge, which is a smaller 2-node version, perfect for the smaller business who wants a nice, simple, low OpEx solution for running their on-prem applications. But what's ideal about it is it's managed by Intersight. So Intersight is another cloud-based GUI and dashboard user interface that will manage all of that server and compute infrastructure. And again, Intersight has AI and machine learning built into it. So it is learning, even as I'm standing here, what is an ideal compute network? When is something optimized? When is something not working very well? When is something about to happen or about to break? So we can proactively give that support to a customer. And again, the more servers and the more workloads we have connected to Intersight, the cleverer it gets, which again is why Cisco's large footprint and size is a really important thing for small businesses, because right now, as I stand here, we're managing 450,000 workloads on Intersight, and that's computing that intelligence all the time and giving that intelligence as insight back to the small business customer to say, hey, this is how your network should be running. It's not optimized. Here's what to do. So a customer doesn't need enormous IT teams to be able to give and get that insight and run the most efficient compute network. Intersight will help them do it. App Dynamics is another example. Many small businesses are the first to digitize and use and run their business using applications and websites. Having done so, if you want to know how your business is running, you need to know how well that app is running. And you need to get business insight from that app. If you're a small business pizza delivery company, you want to know that, hey, you tend to be getting more orders at this time from this location, from this flavor of pizza, or et cetera, et cetera. And so you can start to plan and optimize your business based on that insight that you're getting from the app, that you're not going to sit and work out yourself. You don't need to. It's what App Dynamics does. And although App Dynamics is definitely used by many of the Fortune 500 companies as a way of running their businesses that they have now migrated to apps, like banking, for example, it's equally relevant for small businesses who are also running their business as an app so that they can see how well their business is running. Now, the fourth element of the portfolio is the collaboration. And we have here a full portfolio based basically on WebEx. So think of WebEx calling, WebEx Teams, we have our WebEx meetings, we have endpoints to connect with all of that, we have WebEx Share, we have new headsets that we launched in Cisco Live also. And the thing to note about this is it's a single platform. Again, there's lots of intelligence that gets built into these platforms to enable us to tell you when you have a call with somebody. It goes and looks at LinkedIn for you. It goes and builds a profile, looks online, gives you the data of this person that you want to meet with, all that kind of people insights data that we have. But the key takeaway for this platform is it's one platform for all of those elements. It's not lots of different platforms, which for a small business user is ideal, because it means you've only got one platform to know and understand and educate your people on how to use. You only have one platform to secure. And you only have one platform that if you want to build APIs to do something clever with your collaboration tools, you've got that one platform to be able to do it. So that is the Cisco Designed portfolio. And what I really want to call out here are two things. First, once again, the power of Cisco being the artificial intelligence and the machine learning that we can bring because of our size and because of our footprint, and the insights that we can therefore bring to the small business customer. And two, the fact that as we just went through that whole portfolio, enabling connection to a network, securing that network, collaborating, computing apps, checking those apps, etc., at no point did we need to go to another vendor. Every one of those products that I just went through is in the Cisco Designed portfolio, the portfolio that we have specifically for small businesses. And therefore, we are making possible for our small businesses that ability to connect, compute, and collaborate securely with just one vendor. For a longer version of this presentation, along with demos of Meraki Go, Meraki Vision, and more details on the analytics and the insights that we run in WebEx, take a look at the presentation that we gave at Cisco Live in Barcelona at the link in the comments section below. In the meantime, thank you very much for listening.